Hey everybody, welcome back. Why am I like this? Let's find out. All right, so I need to make some more signs because I've got hot and sweet peppers, and the sign that I have out front only says peppers, and Mom pointed out, hey, you really need to say what kind of pepper. So I've got my sign making stuff all set up. Hot, sweet is loaded in. I've got my router set up. I've got my vacuum cleaner here that I'm going to attach. See if I can keep some of this sawdust from collecting like it has when I've done this before. And I can save the sawdust and make fire starters or something out of it. Somewhere around here I got a big old bag of wax. All right, so I've not used the vacuum cleaner on this before, so it's interesting. So I've got my hot H-O-T over here. I got upside down F. I'm going to try and make a little dash. And then I got my S-W-E-E-T. Sweet. So we'll see how this goes. All right, so I got my H in here. One of the things they say in the instructions is if you've got letters in here for fillers, because this whole thing, this is two sections hooked together, it's pretty long, so I need to put some fillers in here so I can make it in this brace. So I put some upside down letters in there. So that's why you're seeing some of these. It's not upside down to you though, are they? So that was my H, and my vacuum cleaner worked real good. That would have produced a whole lot of messy stuff. So a little vacuum cleaner's coming in handy. All right, O's done. So one thing that I found out is when you get done going around, you come out and you let off the trigger, let your router come to a complete stop before you go into the next letter, because when I was doing this the first couple of times, I'm like, I'll just jump over here and go. Well, what happened is that router bit hit part of the plastic on one of these letters and it chipped it out a little bit. So now whenever I use that particular letter, I have to be careful that I don't let the router get in there and do some funky stuff. So just let your router come to a complete stop. It takes a little bit more time, but it will save you in the end, definitely. I forgot to turn on my vacuum cleaner. And I got a brace right here, and I've got a clamp right here, and I'm butting up against it, so it's going to have to come out. This clamp, middle clamp, is actually one of mine. It didn't come with the kit. The kit comes with a couple of clamps. You guys can't see them, and they're great because they're low profile. But what I found is when you're doing this and you've got both of these together, the middle moves just a little bit, and that could throw things off. So I could slide this down here, and I got another one on this end. I'll slide into place, and then I'll just go ahead and put this on this side. All right, this is my F. That it's the right side up to you guys, but it's upside down to me. This is where I just want to make a little dash between my hot and my sweet. This kit came with letters, numbers, period, and quotation marks, so it doesn't have any dashes or anything like that. So I have to play around, see if this will work. So you might have saw me go around a couple of times on this one, and I just look and see and make sure I'm getting everything. This has a thing on the bottom of it that will follow the stencil, but sometimes it's a little wider. So you go, like the instructions say, you go in a clockwise motion and you trace around your letters. So I was just making sure I got everything formed out on that. Some of the letters like this W will have a little extra space in here. So that's why I went back in there and I was bumping the router around, cleaning up in here. The W's are like that, and I think that might be the only ones that are like that. And then you have to be careful too down here on the A's, which I'm not doing A's today, but there is no like guide to keep the A in the center. So if you aren't paying much attention and you whiz across the middle of this A, you're gonna have to throw that board out and start over because you just chopped out the middle of your A. So again, if you go to clockwise motion around there, and you got to be careful when you're hitting a corner too, because you go along, hit that corner, and you're just going, and then you realize you're outside of the template. But anyway, we'll slide this back down here and keep going. All right, let's see here. That went pretty good. Let me see if I can pop this off here, show you guys what we got. And here's an example of those low profile camps. The router just goes right over the top of it. This one, not so much. You guys can see the difference between the two if I get them in the camera. All right, so there we go. There's that. There we go. Hot, sweet. So I'll have to rearrange my lettering in my frame, and then I'll flip this over and do the other side. Then I will trim it to length, and then to get rid of some of the fuzzy stuff here on the top, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, I'll just run it through my planer and take the top off. You could also probably just sand it. That'd work too. So all right, let me get the other side done. I won't bring you guys along for that, but then come back and show you guys some more. All right, so I did another sign too while you guys were gone. I did a welcome sign here, but unfortunately I didn't notice this when I bought it. It's got some holes in it from some insect damage. You got there, and actually there. That one's filled. Looks like it's filled with sawdust. And then that wouldn't be too bad, except for this one on my C is gonna probably cause some problems. So I'm not gonna paint this one right now. I gotta go to the store, gotta go to town, gotta go get supplies. So I'm gonna pick up some wood filler when I'm in town, fill that in, and then I'll paint it later. But I did already start painting on this one. And what I have done, figured this out at one point in my life, if you're using stain, it's a little different, but if you want to do a light color on the top, it's difficult to do. You take several coats, but I'm doing a brown as a top coat, so this shouldn't be a problem at all. So what I've done is filled these in with paint from Rattle Can, and I just shoot that on there. It takes a little practice. I have some runs on there. That'll be okay. But I need to do a second coat of this, so I got a good coat on there. So I think it's ready for that. So the reason I'm using a Rattle Can spray paint is that it's just easier to get in there. It takes less time. And, you know, if I want to start selling these things for profit, it's time that you need to, you know, that's a big concern. You can't take an hour to do a sign that you're going to sell for $15. That's just, you know, that's not worth it there. So there you go. I got to paint it up for my letter colors. Hot and sweet. I was going to do sweet and green, but I didn't have any green spray paint. So there you go. So I'll let this dry. Man, I might let it dry overnight, and then I'll come back and I'll hit it with my top coat of brown. All right, so paint's dry on my letters, and the last night, it's the next day, last night I was able to, oh hey, you know, at one point yesterday when I was editing some video, I realized I had my shirt inside out all day yesterday. I never realized it. I'd actually gone to town and gone to the grocery store and gone to the hardware store, and my freaking shirt was inside out. I was, like I said, I was editing video and I saw it. So if you go back earlier in this video, if you didn't catch that, jump back until this cut and before this cut, And look at my inside out shirt. Oh, actually, you probably have to go back to the beginning where it showed my shirt. Anyway, so I was able to get here last night and do that side, but I'm going to show you guys that side or any more of that side. I've got this side to do. One thing that I've found when making these signs is routing it out is actually fairly quick. You got to get the letters adjusted and all that stuff, and you know you do this, but you know you're done with this sign, routing this sign out, and then getting it cut and all that stuff. You're done in 15 minutes maybe, I don't know. But this paint stuff, spraying this doesn't take much time. But then you got to wait for that to dry, so you can do that side, and you spray. Oh, I wasn't going to show you guys that side. Do the other side, wait for it to dry. I tried standing this up and shooting both sides with spray paint for the letters at the same time, but I was getting some runs and some stuff like that. So I reverted back to doing it this way. And there's probably some quicker ways. But what I have found is if you want to do a bunch of different signs, route all of the signs out, and then so you can paint them all at the same time. So I also have this one ready to go as well, and I'll just be doing one side of it, and I'll have to come back and get it later, right? If I'd done it at the same time as this, I'd be finishing it up too. So just make sure you have, if you're going to do a bunch of signs, fill up your whole tabletop and paint, and then wait for it to dry and flip, dry and flip, dry and flip, whatever, and you're going to get it done that way. So I've got my roller out. This is a pretty tight net, what do they call it? That's the Spanish. I can't read Spanish. Smooth surfaces. Oh, high density foam. High density foam. It seems to work pretty good. I'm not pouring my paint into my paint pan because I don't want to get paint in my rim. I know they make things that keep that from happening and whatever, but hey, I don't have one. I ain't that fancy. So I'm going to do something that's probably unconventional. Paint people are probably going to go, oh my God, what are you doing? So I'm going to get paint on my roller. And I'm just going to come back in here and I'm going to use my paint pan. Transfer the extra onto there. Even it out onto there. And look at that, Bob's your uncle. I don't have any paint in my rim.
Are you still available if I need you?
They may be available. All right, so just start lightly rolling this. You don't want to push down real hard because then you'll spill paint into your letters, and obviously that's not what you want to do. And then if you need to catch a couple spots, you come back and use the edge of the roller maybe and catch a couple spots. So this is the easiest way I found to do it. I've done it this way. I've done it this way on some park style signs, and it worked pretty good. And bringing it back for this, and goes a lot quicker than a brush paint. What I found, and you don't have a tendency with this tight dense foam, you don't have a tendency to get paint bristles into the letters and stuff like that. All right, so that's pretty much hot and sweet. So that's it. That's the best way I found to paint it. Now I'll wait for this to dry. I'll look at it. If there's some spaces that need touched up, like I see something there, it might need some paint on it. I just made it worse. So yeah, I'll let that dry. I'll come back, look at it, see if there's any spot painting that needs to be done, touch it up, and that's it. So I will
Transporting to ER 9030.5.
move this out of the way. Put it up over here to dry.
1543.
And